Okay, here we are back in the letter. So we are currently in Chapter 7. Luke's chapter has kicked off. I'm skipping about an hour in. I'm probably going to be linking the Grim Reaper Chapter 7 Part 1 into the playlist. And this is going to pick up where he's going to meet Takako out in the garden. And the thing is, there is different lines when you're dealing with Takako. So we'll go from here and see what happens. So in case you're wondering who's alive and who's dead, living, dead, living, dead, living, living, and for now, living. Should also mention, if Ash's death is required for the true ending, I will just go back and I'll probably just splice that in at the end of the playlist or something, since I'm not going to be able to resolve the game in this video. I know already there's about 2 hours of content left. It'll rain again soon, with the wind bringing along the gloomy clouds normal to Luxborn. Until then, it doesn't hurt to be out here for fresh air and sunshine. I walk to the gardens, what little of it there is at the moment anyway, and kneel by the daffodils. These were the first to be brought here and planted on my request, and if nothing else, they brought in a sense of peace. They were Mother's favorites. Closing my eyes, I lift my chin up to welcome the light that shines upon me. And for a minute, I can imagine myself as one of the flowers, peaceful, blooming, and all too happy to stand in its warmth. Life would be much easier if we were all like flowers, wouldn't it? But I didn't step out here to get all philosophical. I have problems much more practical than figuring out the meaning of life, after all. Too many things have gone on these past few days, and I want to forget about them, even for just a moment.
It's almost All Saints, isn't it? To think I've almost forgotten.
I speak the words absent-mindedly. The date means nothing to me, as I neither worship the religion nor have any graves to visit. After all, Mother was never given a proper burial. But it's a date as good as any for me to grieve. Otherwise, I would have done so every single day, crippling myself and shutting everyone else out. I can remember how the flames looked at her flesh and how it consumed her body until there was nothing left but ash. I stood there, watching with the operator and a social service worker, though I could have been alone for all I cared. I felt alone. It was the most that could be done. No one would attend the funeral of a dead prostitute, let alone pay for it. All that is left of her, proof that she had lived, is her name written in the ledger of Luxborn Cemetery, a lighter, and me. Pulling out the lighter from my jacket, I can't stop myself from flicking it open to stare at the flame and to run my thumb over her name. All in all, it isn't much, but it's something. And it'll be wrong of me to not make something of myself when she would have given everything to make sure I can become anything I want to be.
Feels like I'm stuck in a nightmare right now. What I would give to have you here by my side, Mother dear. To see you smiling at me. Alive and as beautiful as ever. I'm afraid I'm starting to forget what your face looks like. I've already forgotten the shade of your hair.
So it's starting to skip for some reason. Eleanor Chandler was a wonderful woman, though not everyone would have agreed. Not everyone had seen past her occupation, past her vices and her illness. All they saw was a poor woman who sold her body to make ends meet, and had a bastard son because of it. They didn't see the mother who worked hard to put food on the table for me, the woman who gave and gave and gave to me while expecting nothing in return. She taught me the merits of hard work, but though I loved her so, I worked hard for myself. I would not be so foolish, so selfless towards people who would never give back. I learned that from the father who plucked me out of an orphanage for his own selfish gain. I pocket the lighter before I can feel the urge to actually set anything ablaze. Considering my close proximity to the flowers, they would be the most likely victim of arson. Just the thought itself is blasphemous. Nevertheless, that doesn't save them from being picked, just enough to make a bouquet of things in honor of Eleanor.
Would you be proud of me if you saw me now, Mother? Maybe. You're always so forgiving. No matter what trouble I got into, more than I deserved. Especially now.
It's been a while since I've talked to my mother like this. Do I even deserve to talk to her now? It feels wrong to do so after what I've done. Not because I have blood on my hands, no, that's nothing new. But when it's her, when I've killed my lovely Hannah, I don't even need to worry about becoming my father anymore because I am certainly much, much worse. Damien never killed Eleanor. He never had her blood on his hands. Staring at the flowers offers me no safety from that reality. The peace I came out here for is short-lived when my own mind betrays my guilt. But I'm a stubborn fool who's set in his ways, and I refuse to get up and go back into the house just yet, even if there's no real point in staying in the dirt. And I'm made even more determined to stay when I sense a presence standing behind me. When I told Shrocken that I would tell anyone and everyone to sod off and bother me another day, I do mean that.
Leave me alone, Shrocken. Go make dinner if you want to be useful.
I think those flowers look beautiful, my lord. The parlor, the room where the lady stays for her tea, it could certainly use some.
The voice is not familiar, though I'm not really one to remember such things. A beautiful woman stands behind me, a servant if one were to assume what she wears. And that should certainly concern me when the other household staff members have been sent away for the day. Not to mention, I'd like to think I'd remember a pretty face like hers if she is under my employ. If she's pretending to be one of the staff, she's out of luck. And if that is the case, she shouldn't push her luck lest I decide another murder will not ruin my day any further. But I can only feel at the very least indifference at her presence and annoyance at most. Beautiful as she may be, that did not exempt her from my wish to be on my own. There is a part of me that feels like I'll snap at any moment for the smallest of reasons. And I'm just waiting for an excuse to let go again.
Didn't you get the memo? Are you new? Today is a day off. You aren't supposed to be here.
Am I not? I apologize, my lord. I wasn't aware that we are not expected at our stations this day. It's just that today is such a beautiful day. I saw you alone and simply thought you could use some company.
Point. The birds are singing and the flowers are blooming. It would be a shame to spend days like these on my own. But with these rare sunny days, I wish I could spend it with my sunshine, my Hannah. Something claws and lashes out inside me at a reminder of what happened, of what I did to her. To know that she is not here with me, to enjoy these scarce times when dark clouds do not plague our skies. An ill feeling takes over me at the mere thought. I have to swallow down the bile that rises in my throat, force my expression not to betray anything. Any sign of weakness is not allowed. The slightest of slip-ups and I'll be swarmed by sharks, hungry for blood. Perhaps talking with another person, a human being that doesn't know of my sins, will do me some good. That or there'll be another pretty corpse by the end of the day.
All is forgiven. You must be really enthusiastic about your job if you didn't realize it's a day off.
I simply owe everything to the lady. Work is all I know. It's the only way I can repay her. But if my lord wishes to take it as enthusiasm, I won't hold it against you.
She smiles. She has that sort of smile that makes one's kindness shine through without words or actions. It reaches her eyes, filling them with a strange sort of mirth, as if she's just thought of something very funny. And I'm hard-pressed to return the friendly gesture. I'll be civil. That doesn't mean I have to pretend that I enjoy it. Though I'm debating just dismissing her all the same.
The flowers in the countryside are rather beautiful, aren't they? Though I must admit, they do not appeal to me as much as the ones in my homeland do.
Not a native born, then. Probably a foreigner who thought looking for a job overseas would let her live the high life, only for stark reality to slap her right in the face. People like her are a dime a dozen, and she's probably one of those undocumented foreign workers, too. There's just a whole doozy of debate about them nowadays. Though it's probably best not to bring the topic up, if only for the sake of my temper. Still, I have to rise to her bait. Flowers sound like such a safe topic to breach. And one I rather enjoy.
Oh, is that a challenge I hear? You must not have seen a full British garden in bloom, then. The roses, daffodils, thistles, and bluebells make for a grand display under the right care.
I think they are much too bright.
Oh, do elaborate. I've never heard anyone call it that way.
Just the way you present your flowers, that is. They are beautiful still. But I think they lack the softness and elegance of the chrysanthemums and cherry blossoms that I have grown up seeing.
Do you work in the gardens, then?
Because that would explain why she's so unfamiliar to me. I don't meet much of the staff, if at all, preferring that they remain invisible until they are a necessity. The gardeners especially, as I only really go out to take care of Mother's daffodils and ask that I be left alone under those circumstances.
Oh, not at all. Although I do wish I were. I do enjoy working with plants quite a lot. Not that I am unhappy to be at your service, my lord, but no. I work for the lady of the house and carry out what she requests of me.
Lady of the house? Is that what that old hag of a housemaid telling the other staff to call her now? Not surprising, really. That woman has always been an upstart. Self-important biddy who doesn't know her place. She should really just give up, retire, and enjoy whatever remains of her years. At her age, she wouldn't manage even a position in the Queen's staff. Not that I don't respect that woman, of course. She and I are much alike. Except I succeeded in rising up the ranks of society, whereas she failed, and how she despises me for that fact. Her pride probably refuses her a graceful exit, and I don't really care all too much about her employment until such time the government forces me to retire her. With how old she is, she's always complaining about pains and aches and about young people. She's a difficult character and only acts real tolerable around Hannah. Not that that'd be a thing anymore since, well, now I'm just in a terrible mood.
Errand girl for Her Majesty, then? That job must be a right pain in the arse. I heard she runs her assistants ragged, probably killing you real slow so she can absorb your life essence in the hopes that it'll make her youthful.
She has her undesirable moments, but I am grateful enough. I have a roof over my head and bread to eat. Though certainly the compensation the household provides for us is not lacking. It is generous for me. Too much. Too much for someone as lowly as I did not mean to imply insult, my lord. I'm simply...
I wave it off. Accusation that I'm paying my employees less than proper are often unfounded. I'd like to think I'm fair with my wages. And it doesn't seem she meant any harm by it, but...
You do not look too happy. I really did not mean to upset you. The lady of the house will surely be furious if she hears of this.
Oh, relax. That old hag isn't going to know because I'm not a snitch. But to be frank, I'm just wondering what you're here for. It's a nice day. A lovely lady like you should be out on the city with some lucky bloke.
Apologies. I did not mean to bother you. I thought you would appreciate the company, what with the rains about to return.
And if I do not appreciate the company, if I wish to be alone, don't you think I came out here for a purpose?
I did nothing to mask my indignance now. If this were any other time, maybe if she were someone else, I would try to be a tad bit civil for a while longer. But if my foul temper will make her run off, all the better. I don't need servants or their imposters nosing about my business. But she stays unperturbed. If anything, she's rooted herself to the spot, still and silent. She looks at me in quiet appraisal while I try my best to see if I can just ignore her. A difficult feat as her stare makes my skin crawl. And what she says next sends a chill up my spine.
But, my lord, that is not what I see. Loneliness casts shadows in your eyes and sharp lines on your face. I see a man who is thinking of the woman he loves. You miss her. You regret. Though I cannot fathom why. She did not deserve you.
With the money and power I have, it's no big surprise that there's a target painted on my back. There have been a few times that someone has decided to take care of me. I've been personally insulted before, called a bastard and a demon. They think angering me will make me slip. The very fact that they do get rid of me is insulting enough as it is. But this is different. Nobody has spoken to my mother before to get to me. Because nobody knew of her. As far as the greater public is concerned, I am the son of Damien Wright. And whoever was unlucky enough to bear me is nothing but an unfortunate footnote in the history of our family.
Who are you? Who sent you? What do you want? How do you know about my mother?
The venom in my voice is apparent, as is the confusion in hers.
Your mother? No. I speak of the woman you wed. Her death was a blessing.
But I don't know if this is any better. I can feel the blood leaving my face. We had sent the others away for this exact reason, to give us time to cover up her disappearance, her corpse even. But if she knew about it, well, she has to be taken care of.
What? How did you?
Without drawing too much attention to it, I reach for the mobile in my pocket. One press will be all it takes to call the other man here so we can get rid of the pest. I do it myself, but I'm unarmed, near defenseless. But my phone isn't here.
I'm going out for some fresh air. If anybody calls, tell them they can sort off and bother me another day.
Of course, of all the time for me to ditch the bloody thing. But I should be able to take care of one woman, right? There's nobody but Johannes and I on the property, far removed from the village and the rest of society. A fist to the throat, a quick twist of the neck, a blade to the jugular. Though forget that last one. Unfortunate for me, I don't have my knife either. But looking back at her, I freeze in place.
Is something the matter? You look affright.
What the fuck? I try to scream, but it's stuck in my throat.
Please do not torment yourself. You have nothing to worry about. I would never harm you. This home still needs its lord, our prince. Come, my lord, the house beckons.
Gone was the beautiful woman, and in her place is this grotesque witch, this monster, surreal and horrifying. That's it, I've gone mad. Driven crazy by guilt for the sins I've committed. And this is the devil that would torment me for all eternity. But even the idea that this is all a dream, a nightmare, doesn't stop me from flinching away at her touch. It definitely does not stop me from breaking off into a run. I can still feel her eyes on me as I run back to the house, but I refuse to acknowledge it, let alone look back. All I need is to get away from her and make sure she stays away. And if that means acting like a coward and seeking out company to keep me safe, nobody can tell me to do otherwise. Bravery isn't something to be lauded if it comes along with stupidity. So we're going to the next scene that actually differs. I don't care enough to show any sign that I've heard him, retreating into the master bedroom without another word. The bouquet of daffodils is quickly placed before the nursery door. It's almost hilarious how I'm now worried about a woman more than I am of the fact that there's a corpse in the next room. But even as worry for her still keeps me on edge, I feel exhaustion come over me. Not bothering to strip off my clothes, I fall into the bed tired and alone. So I don't remember who it was that made the comment, but there you have it, he does sleep in his suit. The body is yet to be disposed of, mostly my fault. I have too much to take into account before I rush to a decision. Though perhaps this whole ordeal is being made complex by my sleep-addled brain. I don't want to handle any of it. Not Hannah's body, not the security, not Kylie visiting. Right now, all I want to do is actually get some sleep. Still, the thought of that woman from yesterday and the danger that she presented was enough to keep me from even trying. So suffice to say, I'm not very happy that anyone would dare to separate me from my true love, the bed. The rain that started sometime during the night didn't help the mood. Okay, maybe it helps just a little. The strange sunny weather has been nice and all, but for it to return as it should be feels like a good sign of things to come. Perhaps things will settle back to normal and the crazy drama that has gone on lately will die down. The rhythmic pitter-patter of the rain fills the early morning silence with a steady beat. Thank goodness I don't have to be anywhere in a hurry today. I would hate to be caught unawares in this rain. So, what have we here? Police are not welcome in this home. The niggling voice at the back of my head starts loudly, though its presence is both unwanted and unnecessary.
If they come to investigate her disappearance, you need to make a decision. What will we be doing with the madam?
Because if they come to investigate her disappearance, well, we don't want them snooping about the house. Not until dearest Hannah is taken care of, because I'm the fool who can't let her go. It's ridiculous that I'm so sentimental about something that amounts to nothing more than rotting meat. As it is, the body is still decomposing on the inside, internal organs being the first to go. If anybody found her, they might still think she's only sleeping. First sign of flies and maggots aside anyway. It's been less than 48 hours, but give it a day or two and the thing will only get worse. My bedroom already smells like rotting fruit. The scent is faint and lingering. It's persistent, even with all that Johannes has done to decontaminate the place without touching the body itself.
Leave it for tonight. I'll think of something by then. Until then, I want you on top of everything.
So the one thing that does differ from there in the Grim Reaper ending is since Zack is alive, that means his eyes are not in the box.
Tio, where is Tia? She's still sleeping in bed again? Is she gonna join us later?
I'll be lying if I say I'm not worried about going on with this line of questioning. I honestly am not expecting her to ask about her godmother. For all that Hannah was her actual godparent, she isn't as fond of her as she is of me. For a moment, paranoia fills my mind. It's suspicious of her to ask about a dead woman for no reason. I do realize this is ridiculous. To think a child is a threat to me. Her father might be putting her up to it, to find dirt on me, my mind supplies. I'm not too disillusioned to think that the people working under me are actually loyal to any extent. I can't stop myself from being defensive.
What do you care? You've never asked for her before.
Mama's been asking about her. She hasn't visited for a while.
There's a shrug, and some sense to her words. If that doesn't relieve some of the tension from me, nothing else will.
I don't know where she is, Munchkin. She's probably off somewhere doing grown-up things.
That makes sense. Tia does a lot of boring grown-up stuff. There's always a boring grown-up parties. You must be happy you're not doing a boring grown-up thing right now, thanks to me.
Hey, I'm doing a grown-up thing. I'm taking care of you, aren't I, you little rugrat?
I'm still on edge, but it's easy enough to put on a carefree mask once I get a grip of myself. The roll of her eyes and the way she looks at my doodles is a false sense, in a false sense manner helps too. In a false serious manner.
Oh, your drawing doesn't look grown-up to me.
Nevertheless, like any child her age, the line of questioning doesn't exactly stop.
Is Tia still asleep? I want to give her this pretty drawing I made for her.
And I know that they can't help it. That they don't know where to cross the line out of genuine and innocent curiosity. Yet that doesn't stop me from snapping.
Tia isn't here, all right?
So where is Tia?
She's not anywhere that I know of. Probably at another party, shaking hands and all that.
But she's coming home soon at least, right, Tia?
Enough, you little brat. Can we just...
I don't know where Hannah is. That's the official excuse for when her disappearance is looked into. It's easier to claim ignorance to have a lack of liability if foul play is ever suspected. There'd be no mens rea, or actus reus if I spin the whole affair and make myself the clueless bystander. It'll be easier to manipulate the story if I remove myself from it, whichever way we choose to deal with this mess. But I've been blindsided by the interrogation of a child. Whispers in my ear conspire. Silence her. End her. I have to shake my head to clear away the thoughts. She didn't deserve my anger for such innocent questions. Because this is just a kid. This is Kylie, for fuck's sake. I don't need to silence her. I had to...
Let's just have fun, all right? I'm so sorry, Kylie. Please don't cry. I didn't mean to.
I raised both my hands in a non-threatening manner, trying to placate her, only for her to take a step away, wide-eyed and terrified. This look on her face just crushes something in me. She doesn't let me say anything more than that before she runs away, crying about wanting to call her father, about wanting to go home. Her crayons and toys lay strewn about, forgotten. Even Narcissa is left behind. She never leaves her doll behind if she can help it, and now it's looking at me, accusing. I'd never shouted at her before. I had no right to. And even if I want to deny it, some part of me was about to raise my hand to her, when I promised a long time ago that I would never harm a child. Miss Pink was wrong about me, it looks like. I'm a horrible guardian. I'm not good with kids at all. Or good, period. I just can't help this awful energy that's taken over me. I feel so angry and tense and...
Ah, Cisa, what is wrong with me? Am I going mad?
I was kind of hoping the doll would actually talk to him, and then we could say he is, but oh well. Breathe a momentary sigh of relief. I sit down on the bed while the other man looks out on the balcony and closes the door behind him.
The balcony is clear.
And he's thorough, looking in the closets and under the bed, even going so far as to looking in the nursery. But it is with that he comes back silent. Johannes' eyes scan the room warily, searching to see if he missed something.
What have you done with the madam?
What do you mean?
What do you mean?
The body. It isn't there.
What? Last I checked, it's still there. It's not like anybody knows where the fucking body is. Did it just stand up and walk away? Got tired of being dead and decided to unkill itself?
It isn't there. That must mean it's somewhere else. And the house is crawling with guards, none of whom knew that Hannah is already dead. I feel a color drain from my face, but before I can take a step out, he raises a hand to stop me from charging out there.
Stay.
Stay? Do you see the problem we have here, Shroken? Are your eyes open, Shroken? Do you see the problem we're having here, Shroken?
With my own eyes.
What the bloody fuck are you still doing there, then? Honest corpse. A corpse is missing. If anyone else finds that bloody body, we are going to have an even bigger problem than Suarez's company leak.
Which is why I'm asking you to calm down. This isn't...
You do not understand, do you? Okay, everything is at stake here.
Money, reputation, connections, the company I've built. Everything. There's no second thought as I reach under the side of my bed and pull out one of my knives. I have no doubt that the other man can take me on if we're both unarmed, but with this, I can even the field. Or at least deter him from escalating the situation, risking hurting either of us.
I'm going out there to look for that damn fucking body, and you're either with me or you're fucking fired! I am not risking anything. I am not losing everything.
Still, like a stubborn mule, he refuses to budge from the door. There's a withering look on him that I try to match. One that somehow I'm losing fast to, even with him not saying a word yet.
Can you see yourself in the mirror right now? You're in no proper state to go looking for anyone, let alone your wife's dead body. If it'll make you happy, I will do the looking. But please, and don't make me repeat this, stay where it's safe, where security can find you. We already have one matter to be worried about. Please don't add another one to it.
Perhaps it is his tone. In spite of his general disdain for virtually everything that has to do with me, I'd like to think that over the years he has grown some sense of duty to his employer at least. Much as I loathe to admit this, I trust him over any other servant in this house. So in acquiesce...
You have 2 hours, Shroken. I don't think it'll take that long to find one lifeless fucking corpse in this godforsaken house. 2 hours. Any more than that, I'll do it my fucking self.
Of course.
Despite his words, he lingers. If I didn't know any better, I'd say he wants to make sure I get in that damn bed and sleep before he turns away from me. What am I, a child? Watching me and treating me like one? There's the reason why we will never get along.
Well, what are you waiting for?
Nothing. I just hope you're happy.
Verily, now mush!
As you wish.
Only then does he seem to get the hint. With a nod, he leaves, locks and closes the door behind him. For a moment, I still hear his voice while he gives the guards outside firm instructions. Then a hush as soon as he departs and his footsteps fade away. One that doesn't quite last. As quickly as the silence settles, the lightning flashes across the sky, followed immediately by the loud boom of thunder. And that wander strikes so dangerously close that I can feel the electricity in the air. The power goes out not a second later, and I feel as if I'm being mocked by whatever greater power there is. All is deathly still for a moment, but soon the rain starts again. Far heavier than the light drizzle from this morning, its pitter-patter hitting hard against this place's roof. Despite the noise, I find myself drawn to my bed, exhausted, hoping for a little nap. I'm safe here. Shroken will find her, and when I wake, I won't have anything to worry about. It does not take long. Once my head hits the pillow, in a matter of minutes, darkness claims me. Let the butler take care of that little problem with Hannah while I... Hannah? Hannah's body is still missing. Hannah's still missing, and the Trespassers still out there.
You do not need her. I am here. We are here. This is where your home is.
Where you belong for all that blood you've shed. Come back to us. How long has it been since? Johannes has never taken this long before.
Surely there should have been an update by now. Right?
So why isn't there?
Please don't go.
Bloody hell, the cretins I've surrounded myself with.
And isn't that enough reason to force myself out of bed? As it has always been the case. My eyes fly open, expecting the warm rays of sunshine filtering through the curtains, only to be greeted by a blinding flash of light and a loud boom of thunder that sounded nearly too close to my ears. Strong gusts of wind will occasionally burst through burst in from the open balcony door, bringing in drizzles of cold rain into the room. Though the delay is understandable, if you went looking for Hannah as promised. Bloody hell, my safety is also at stake here.
A photographer, a high school teacher, and a real estate agent walk into a mansion.
Thunder crackles once again, cutting me off. This time, its sound hits close enough that it nearly feels as if the windows in the ground itself are rumbling. All is deathly still for a moment. I don't let it stop me, however, as I slowly make my way towards them, taking one careful step at a time, relishing the expression of fear in their eyes. I suppose there's something ominous in this setting, with the heavy rain outside and the lack of light here. I kinda like it, to be honest. It adds something to the atmosphere, and I suppose I must look like the villain now. But short of me getting close to them, a noise to my left distracts me, briefly halting my movements while curiosity takes over every murmur in my head. And it's a good thing, perhaps, that I did, because as soon as I look up, I see him. Another trespasser. Great. Just as he's about to jump down from the furniture that somehow ended up piled and blocking the door to the parlor. What happened there? And did he really think it's alright to do that in other people's houses? Lout.
Teach him, my lord. Put him in his place.
My hand's already moving before any rationale can stop me, fingers firm at my gun when I finally release the safety from it and take aim. Not at him, but at his friends. They are his, aren't they? Why else would they be here together? Doesn't matter, he won't let the people he cares about be harmed. My finger on the trigger is more than itching to shoot, but I hold back. Sure, I could have simply taken aim at him. But more than seeing him bleed, I want to see the expression on his face once he realizes everything he is doing is futile. He's trapped. Lives are in my hand. His life's in my hand.
Had I known there would be a party in my own home tonight, I would have opened a bloody bottle or two. People these days, in my own home. Can you believe it? I feel so left out.
I can tell the exact moment the realization dawns on him. A short second of his body freezing and blood draining from his face as soon as his feet hits the floor and he looks up. He's already a prey, trapped by his own recklessness.
How pathetic.
And really, Daisy, even you, what would Kylie say?
Luke, this isn't what you're thinking. You have to listen to us. There's something going on here.
Well, obviously, why else would people be trespassing in my home? What about little Lily over there, then? What's your excuse? Checking back if your clients are doing okay? Is that it? Is this what this is?
We're doing good, by the way.
Sir, please.
Oh, please, what?
Becca's right, sir. We need to get out of this place. You need to leave.
Tut, not a good enough excuse, darling. You people are the ones who need to get out of my sight. Don't worry, I might consider pressing lighter charges for the woman. Can't say the same for the rest of you. But really now, I swear the people of this city need to be taught the meaning of privacy. This is how you want to start the week. Why don't we just go with a bloody massacre if we want to surprise people in their homes, huh?
It's just a passing remark, of course. I'm not stupid enough to do something that'll bring negative attention to myself. Reputation and all that. I can't just risk it. The thought of having more dead bodies here, it's already quite too much. It'll literally be overkill, especially for someone like me. Nevertheless, joke or not, Feathers wastes no time drawing his own gun at the slight wave of my own. Even if he knows it's already too late. Still, he glares at me. Still, he fights back.
Now, Feathers. Manners. You're in no position to be pointing that gun at people.
There's no desperation in him like I'm hoping. Just an annoyance flickering shortly before being hidden underneath a challenge. The likes of him are the kind of people I hate the most. Even with their failures already glaring down at them, mocking every worthless move they make, they have the impudence to stare people in the eye.
Why don't you put yours down first, and then we'll talk about manners.
Oh, he talked back. The gall! You know, your kind pisses me off so much.
Annoying most of the time, like a damn pest you can't be rid of. But to some degree it is commendable. I'll give him that. After all, we're almost the same in that regard. Almost. I'm still the better person, of course. He tells me to put the gun down, but I see no reason why I should. I'm a homeowner in defense of my own home. I have the right to, I'd like to think. Questionable permit of firearms aside. It's not like I wanted this, but I'm already high-strung and their presence does not help. Bloody peasants. I can never seem to figure out how their minds fully work. Take this one, for example. Despite the pride brimming in him, how he matches my glare with one of his own, he simply lowers his pistol after a long second, not in surrender. The tense set in his shoulders tells me as much, but the closest he can get to lowering his own ego in favor of something I can't quite place. Interesting. Gotta admit, I'm almost disappointed.
As you should be, my lord.
I expected him to hold until one of us shoots the other. Can't say it'll be more exciting that way. A bullet inside any part of my body isn't something I'd like to have on a bad day like today. Or any day for that matter. But it'll surely be predictable of him. And I like predictable. They're the kinds of people who are the easiest to deal with, no matter the situation. With them, there's no second guessing what they'll do. He shoots, I shoot, one of us dies, the other walks away, nothing complicated. Nothing requiring much brain power, just muscle memory and who's the better shooter, end of story. Yet here he is, dragging a deep breath in and setting aside the only thing protecting him. I can easily shoot him this way, be done with this whole farce of a conversation. Instead, I find myself listening. A concession, for a person who in another life would have also become the person I am today, had his circumstances allowed it. Damn shame. We might have gotten along,
Listen, right. I need you to.
but alas.
You broke into my house, and somehow, you expect me to listen like a good little boy. Are you a bit touched in the head, Feathers? I'm not the one breaking laws here.
Look here, fucker. If I wanted you dead, I could have done it so many times already. In fact, I can easily shoot you down right here, right now. And you won't be able to do a damn thing, even with that gun.
A meeting of two prideful blokes will never go well, whichever lifetime it is. And I can only laugh at his audacity, his lack of shame, and fear even facing the business end of my pistol.
You know what I'm thinking right now? In another lifetime, we would have probably gotten along well.
The best truth I can offer him. Not many people, those who have slighted me in particular, live this long to see it.
And he should be grateful. You're already gracious enough, allowing him to stand in your presence like this.
Yes, especially when he has a lot to answer. Preferably right now, because as generous as I've been so far, my patience has its limits. My amusement can only last for so long. In 2 steps, I'm standing in front of him, grabbing him by the collar and resting the cold muzzle of the eagle against his temple. Ashton!
Luke, no!
Hey, now you two, I'm sure we can all talk about this first.
He'll end up a pretty smear on the wall this close.
Teach this loud a lesson.
What is it that you people really want with me? This is the 2nd time this week, and I'm really getting weary of this little game. Did the NCA send you to apprehend me? Or has somebody paid you off to kill me? Which one is it, Feathers? Mind you, my arm's getting tired. Better answer quick if you don't want to beat the business end of this gun.
And he knows it. Of course he does. Hitman or not, he has been trained, judging purely from his stance. But not many bother to be as cautious as him. One glimpse of my handgun safety earlier is all it took for him to see I mean business. Similar. Too similar. We're too alike in so many little ways, it's funny. Down to the fact that he doesn't even flinch, no matter how heavy the threats in my words are. Even knowing how one flick of my finger on the trigger will be enough to end his sorry life, he should have caved in by now, started begging like so many others before him. Instead, he throws more vitriol, adds more kindling to a fire already burning.
I'm not with NCA. I'm just here to help. There's something else in this house, and we're all in danger. You have to believe me, right? You need to let us go. You need to get out of here before it's too late. If you want to keep your sorry ass alive, you'll listen to people with more brain cells than you.
Igniting it further, then, that I can't help but return it to him with equal fervor. We don't need him, my love.
Why, you insolent!
We both decide to move at that moment, both our bodies tensing, each of us racing to get ahead of the other. However, before we can even get a head start, a voice unexpectedly rings above the chaos about to ensue.
Hannah? You're not supposed to be here.
For a moment, I wonder if it had been me who died and not her. After all, that can be the only logical explanation as to why I hardly draw a breath while she stands there. Of course, another logical explanation would be that I'm high, and this is a really, really bad trip. Either reason doesn't suit me. Though it can't very well be the former. Even from down here, I can see the blood that stains her dress. Seeing that makes me feel as if my hands are covered in them once more. Warm and sticky, sweet and sickly.
Oh, Luke, darling, my love. You look so upset. Are you not happy to see me?
But let's be honest here. Any explanation, any reason as to why a dead woman walks once more is a bad one to me, especially when it's one that I've killed. I mean, how even?
How can this be? You're...
Do you not find my presence desirable anymore, my love?
What sort of sick joke is this?
Tell me what's wrong, my dear prince. Does my presence leave you so speechless?
She says with a smile on her face, tiff and forced. A dead body's parts doesn't seem as malleable as they would be on a living human. She takes a step forward and her movements are stiff and choppy. Like a corpse being forced into position despite the rigor mortis. Like the corpse that she should be. I find my voice once more when she takes a careful step forward. Just the thought of that thing approaching just makes my skin crawl. She stops to listen, fixated on my voice and on my words.
No, you're not. You're not supposed to be here. You can't be here. You're dead.
The "I killed you" is left unsaid, considering present company.
And I have returned. For you. You don't have to do this. You can still have it all, Luke. Just please. Don't you love me? We would have been so beautiful.
I can still hear her pleas as she begs me not to be rid of her. Not once have I forgotten this particular crime of my own. No matter how much I wash my hands, I can still see her blood on them. She's dead. That is an irrefutable fact, and nothing short of the devil would bring her back.
Why are you acting this way, my love? Does this not make you happy?
I feel like there's something lodged in my throat, and my heart feels like it's being sat on with how tight my chest feels.
Of course I'm happy to see you again, Hannah. Of course I love you, Hannah. But how do I know you're... How do I know you're you, darling?
Whatever do you mean? You look perturbed. Why not come here? I can make you feel better.
If by act of some malevolent god she was back, I don't think she would take too kindly to what I had done to her. This certainly is what I would expect. Not the fixated gaze or these loving words. There's no accusation in them, no anger, when Hannah has every right to look at me so. My guilt is overshadowed by the oddity of these illogical circumstance.
No. Stay where you are. Stay back. Don't go near me. Don't touch me.
It is the rejection which turns her expression utterly fearsome, and everything turns to complete and utter shit. Hannah's body shudders and shakes as she's about to have a seizure until her visage ripples and changes. Golden yellow hair is slowly stained with inky black, and her face melts into that of the woman, the maid from before, with a menacing expression on her face. Along with it is the shifting of the very ground we stand on. It's a slow thing, a whisper more than a bang as the darkness creeps into every corner of the room. The walls shudder and groan, blood runs from the ceiling, crawls down the walls and stains the floor. It feels as if life itself is being sucked from the house slowly but surely. The beauty of the place is gone, with only the dead, decaying remains of a mansion left in its wake. I don't have to wonder if it's just the foyer that's become this nightmarish place. I can already hear it. Gone are the growling of thunder and the lashings of rain and wind against the foyer's high windows. All of it's been replaced by a more grating sound. A cacophony of voices from nowhere and everywhere echoing throughout the now horrid walls. A voice that neither belongs to us nor the people who live here.
What's going on?
All throughout the house, shouts of alarm and surprise ring out, a mirror to the horror creeping up in each of us. Who wouldn't be shocked? This is insane. Even Daisy, feisty woman that she is, trembles at the sight of it, clinging desperately to Lily while Steel and Feather stand protectively in front of the two. Brave of them, I have to admit, to put themselves in the front line like that. Though it doesn't necessarily mean they don't feel the same fear as the rest of us. Something I don't blame them for. There seems to be no end in sight to this insanity. If anything, this only feels like it's the beginning of the end.
Help me! Oh my god! Please, somebody! Anybody! Who are you? Stay away!
No. Stay away. Stay away.
We would have been so beautiful. Mother of God, pray for us sinners.
Their screams fill the mansion. She laughs all the while, a harsh, agonizing sound that goes on for what feels like forever. Until there is nothing but silence, her horrid smile, and pale hands reaching out to me. Calling, beckoning, pleading. I'm terrified, I really am, like I should be, but I have never been one to truly stay afraid. I've long learned that fear will not get me anywhere. Cowering in a corner doesn't keep me safe and will not keep me alive, not like rage does. I've learned to use this burning hate inside of me to survive. There is no difference now.
Stay away from me.
Why do you wish to leave? This is where you belong, my lord. Remember the blood you shed. The very same one that now taints this house, along with many others.
I did not do this. You lie. I did nothing.
What of her then? Your wife, your sunshine. Doesn't her blood already stain these halls? Stain your hands?
Then, Hannah's really? You're the one who... You killed her. Your own wife!
Damn it, right. You were dirty, but...
She's lying!
The words sounded so familiar. Just a few days ago I would have spouted the same ones of that vile woman who ruined everything. If it weren't for that Munter, that harlot. But it's no use. A seed has already been planted in their heads. Defending myself, especially against the likes of them, is pointless. Bloody hell, even Daisy's now looking at me with the same revolting stares people are giving me once they know of my dirt.
So it's true then? With Hannah? Hannah, Luke?
I don't know what she's talking about. Are you that gullible, Daisy? Do you really believe the words of a murderer?
No, you deny it. Pointing fingers, aren't we? You see, my love, no difference. No difference, you and I. Just like the rest of us. Just like every single soul in this putrid wreck. We've waited for so long. You can hear them, yes. Their pleas, their calls, their invitation. Come, my lord. The house seeks its master.
The monster reaches out again, her hands a gory, abhorrent sight, along with that smile spread across her face. My body's already moving on instinct. Stumbling back one step at a time in a desperate bid to be away from her, anything to put distance between me and this vile creature. No matter what she says, I am nothing like her. I need to get out of this house. Out of this country, preferably. There's nothing for me here. Not anymore. Nothing to keep me tied to this place. With Hannah gone, Shroken has likely been taken by this woman as well. Nothing's left to bind me to this wretched city. I can leave. I can... My foot steps on something, sending me sliding on my back and flat on the floor. Beside me, a paper, a familiar one, flutters down. It's this thing again, from the open house, though it feels less like a gimmick and more like a threat with what with recent events. Must have fallen from one of these peasants in the commotion earlier. For a moment, they appear conflicted to see it in my hands, but wisely keep their opinions to themselves, leaving the damn thing to simply bear its grisly message for everyone in the room to see. Help me. Help me. Help me. Is this it? What they've been telling us? Why everything in my life has gone to shit, because of some stupid old letter. An invitation indeed. One I am not willing to accept. Not any time. From the top of the stairs, the creature moves again, drawing my attention back to her. Her gait remains slow and awkward as she walks forward, that smile never leaving her. But I won't give her the chance. I am not dying here. I certainly am not giving myself to a hideous creature like her either. A Adrenaline kicks in, and despite panic gasps and worried glances from Daisy's friends, I pay them no mind as I reach for the main door and, without warning, it slams open, revealing not the matching grounds like I'm expecting. Before my mind can even comprehend what's happening, black tendrils have already coiled around my limbs, dragging every person in the foyer into the room. None of us even get to scream when darkness completely envelops us upon the doors closing.
Understand where your place is now, my love. You belong here. Is it so difficult to grasp? We've been waiting.
So if you remember on the Glimmer of Hope ending, it was Hannah who disarmed Luke here. So the question is, what's going to happen since she is not here? There's a moment of panic when the feeling of the tendrils around my limbs finally dissipates. As soon as my eyes adjust to the darkness of the room and I'm on my feet, I'm reaching for my knife and holding it out, watching, waiting for every movement. Using it as a way to put distance between me and these peasants. Who knows what they'll do to me, now that they know what I've done. There's only 5 of us in this room, 4 of them friends at that, and only me. I cannot trust these people not to turn on me. I cannot trust anyone. Not anymore. Not after this. Despite the pleased looks Lily shoots my way while they all huddle in the corner behind Steel and Feathers. But I have to remind myself that even people like her are capable of doing the unpleasant. She's only human after all. It's never an excuse why even Hannah has her cunning, manipulative moments, though. She does it much subtler than I. Why else would Lily show this letter to us that day, if not to save herself? I guess that backfired on her now that she and her own friends are also stuck here. Still, I have every right to be livid. Everything that I built has fallen apart. All because these people came into our lives.
You! All of you! This is all your fault! If I've died to this bloody case, I'm taking you all down with me!
Hey now, Mr. Wright. I know the situation ain't good, but we have to calm down. We're all in the same boat here.
You shut your mouth! If it weren't for you, for this letter, for all of you, none of this would have happened! Anna would still be...
Suddenly Daisy steps up and slaps the knife away from my hand.
Don't you dare, Luke! Don't you dare put that blame on us!
Without batting an eye, glaring at me as if she might just rip my head off in this instant, said knife slides uselessly under the table, out of my reach. I should have expected she's not the kind to submit even under threat. Right now, all of us appear smaller, facing her anger.
Last I checked, we're not the one whose hands have been stained with his wife's own blood!
And what about your friend over there? Are you saying she is responsible for this mess? For the lives this sorting letter took? Dragging other people into her own problems just so she could save her little sorry self? You think I haven't seen that before? Getting real tired of your double standards, Daisy!
You know this curse is an entirely different issue, Luke. Because, knowing you, I don't doubt that even without that blasted letter, you would have eventually...
Rebecca, stop! All of you stop this!
To hear Lily speak out loud, I can't say I'm not surprised. She's always given me the impression of someone so meek from the moment I met her, either from her inexperience or her station in life. She's never struck me as someone fitting to be a real estate agent. If anything, that meltdown she had during the open house had only proven my assumptions. Until now. Quietly, she puts herself between me and Daisy, cutting over scathing words we've yet to hurl at the other. The way she glares at me reminds me a little of the way my own mum would look at me. Particularly when I've done something wrong, and it's not a stare she's unused to showing. She has done this before, probably to a younger sibling. Huh. If she only sees us now as a pair of squabbling kids and not too mature adults, well, that's only to be expected. No doubt that's how she sees us. For a long moment there's only silence in the room. Steel the big oaf doesn't even dare break it, neither does Feathers. With both merely watching us. Bunch of wimps, these men. Not that it matters when Lilia starts speaking again after some of the anger and tension is lifted from the room.
Stop this, please! With or without that damn piece of paper, we...
A deep breath. An exhale. And then she closes her eyes, a crease formed between her eyebrows while she grips her hand tightly in front of her.
We still would have ended up in this mess.
The atmosphere that descends into the room right after that, admission is anything but pleasant. Can I call it that, an admission? Seems like it from the way her eyes nervously flick between her friends and I. She appears no more than she lets on, and how she makes herself appear smaller after dropping that bomb on us doesn't quite sit well with me. And patience is something I don't have the luxury of having right now and bestowing upon other people. What else does this girl know? What else is she not telling us? Because from the looks of this, even her friends have no idea what she's talking about. Unwilling to wait, I grab her arm before she retreats without explanation, waving the letter still in my hand in front of her.
Ow! Sir, you're hurting me!
Hey, hands off her, right?
Fuck off, Feathers. I have questions for your friend, and she better have the answers.
Luke, will you stop taking it out on every single person?
Your friend is hiding something, Daisy.
She struggles for a moment, but my hold eventually forces her to look up at me. Fear and uncertainty spread across her features, especially when her eyes land on the damn paper. As much as I want to be considerate right now, I want answers.
What do you mean, Lily?
I'm not sure about it.
Don't give me that, you know something!
Ow! Please, sir. I know the paper's useless, okay? Those people they mentioned in the news lately, all those who died, my co-workers, the open house clients, none of them had seen it. Even Rose. And yet they're all dead. I should know, sir. That letter has been with me since I picked it up. And I swear I didn't make copies of this thing. Even if I wanted to save myself, I wouldn't do that to my friends. Or anyone.
Is that what the trip to BRC was for?
Yes, I'm sorry. I couldn't tell you guys until I was certain. None of you believed me the first time. I had to find proof.
And yet we're all here! Are you taking me for a fool, Lily?
We would have ended up here either way. Maybe? I really don't know. Sir, please. All I know is that paper isn't the reason why all of this is happening. There's something else that...
This place.
Steele has been quiet this entire time, but the sound of him talking, however whispered it is, still manages to catch us all off guard. We all pause, turning to him with likely the same questions in our eyes.
What?
I just remembered something a friend told me. You know, stuff about ghosts or curses. You probably don't want to hear it.
No, it might be something. What about this place, Zach?
There's still a moment where he hesitates, but Lily's urging eventually spurs him into speaking.
Remember what I told you the last time you and Ash visited? A few days ago?
You mean what Andrew told you? Those were just stories, Zach. It might not even help.
Regardless, Steele pauses while he allows Lily to remember. Soon enough, whatever it is dawns on her face, and her face lines up with something like hope? Of all things, in this nightmare, hope? Her head snaps up and she reaches for Steele's arm to give it a squeeze. A reassurance, or a confirmation. The meaning is lost even to Daisy, who glances at them, baffled.
Belle, what are you...
Becca, it's this place.
What? You mean, like, burn this place down?
What? No! We are not burning a multi-million-pound mansion, you peasants! I just spent a fortune on this! Bloody fucking hell! Not only do I have trespassers on my property, but they're also arsonists!
It's not only that. Think about it.
Then they proceed to tell me some ridiculous narrative about the supernatural. Stories about ghosts, legends, curses born out of great anger and pain, and whatever else people use to scare children. Not that I believe any of it. As if no one will help, a bunch of loons these people. Officially off their rockers. To think I'll be stuck in this nightmare with people like them. What did I ever do, the world? Of course, it's all absurd until...
I think it's just like what the professor guy said. Just like that old story. This mansion and some other thing might be keeping her here. You know, something he wanted in life, but never got to have. Something like that.
Or maybe it's not something, Zachary.
Someone. The who doesn't have to be uttered out loud. There's only one person in this room who that woman calls after. Every single one of them has heard it. Bloody hell, it's in the reluctant shift in Daisy's eyes when they flicker over to me, though only briefly. She's also holding information on her own, or perhaps a realization she just had. Doesn't matter. I know when people have slowly started to turn on me, nor do they think I can last in this cutthroat world. Betray them before they do the same thing to you. Put a knife in their back before they can act. Kill or be killed. Survival in a nutshell. Why did they think I put Hannah out of the picture before she can cry for help and ruin everything? What now? Are they going to throw me at that creature? See what happens to save themselves? I am no fool.
No. You're all in on this, aren't you? Of course! Of fucking course!
Luke, that isn't what I...
Are you all going to stoop that low?
It's nothing like that, Ash. All we're saying is that maybe he might be able to do something about this.
Drop it, you guys. We're not leaving anyone here.
Just like that, their bickering begins anew. Bloody peasants. My head's already aching just listening to them. To think this is all the solution they can come up with. Should just stabbed all of them and made a run for it. Doesn't help though with each second we spend talking here, the crazier this whole place gets. The voices become louder and somehow sounding more vicious. If the things in this room start floating, mark my words, I will fucking flip out. And they may not be thinking of it right now, but eventually, they'll turn on me. Such is the nature of humans. Better find a way out of this place as soon as possible, if I want to stay alive. Fuck, I still have so much to do. Our only choice doesn't seem sound, but who knows? We don't understand a shit about this place. Might as well try everything, yeah? Whatever works. If I also have to be the one to make that bloody decision, so be it. Less room for errors, with the only sane one doing the thinking. On the off chance I'm wrong, well, they suggested it. I am going to regret this, I will. But with these cries growing louder, this has become the easiest decision I've ever made. I'm getting tired of hearing her sobbing, really. It's just irritating. Isn't she tired of it? Besides, someone has to act fast. Think fast. And what else is the root cause of our problems but this place where the letter was found? No need to make things more complicated. It started here. Why won't it end here? If what Lily has said is true, then there's all the more reason to destroy it. Put an end to this madness before someone thinks of putting this blasted place up in the market. When I get out of this place, I swear I'm suing a bunch of people. Run that estate company to the ground if need be. We spent millions, damn it. Millions. With a sigh, perhaps a heavy heart, I open one of the drawers of my study table, taking a bottle of liquor out for myself, then passing it out to every occupant in the room. They accept it, but now without a look of protest or a confused glance my way. It does shut them all up, so maybe I've done something good. Even more when I pop the cork off the bottle and pour its contents on the floor.
Well, what are you simpletons waiting for?
We waste no time dousing the whole room, the smell of alcohol filling the air. If I didn't know any better, I'd say they're more than eager to set this whole place on fire. And the blaze catches easily in this room when I set it alight, using the blasted paper as kindling. With the whole place drenched with wine and all manner of things alcoholic, I've been hiding from Hannah. The small fire soon turns into an inferno. In a matter of seconds, we're out the door. It doesn't exactly lead where I'm hoping it will, although ending up in the kitchen does give us more reason to play like a bunch of pyromaniacs. Fishing the liquor stocks from the cupboard, we also do the same thing we've done to the study. Door after door in every room we pass, pouring bottle after bottle of expensive aged liquor and setting everything on fire, only leaving once the blaze has started in earnest. When we run out of liquor, we simply drop the bottle and take one off from the many nooks I've stashed one. And there's no lack of it here. The hard stuff, the shorts, the watered-down kind. Gifts from a distant relative, friends, so-called friends, you name it. I have made sure there's always one within reach.
How many of these things do you keep in this house?
I always have a few bottles in the bedroom, you know, the parlor and the dining room.
You have problems, man.
Well, isn't this the time to discuss them?
Hannah had called me out on this numerous times before, telling me the same thing. I've always told her she doesn't know the half of it before completely dismissing her concerns. Worrywart, that woman. Turns out it'll be useful now. Not to drown out my sorrows, but for this. Wonder of wonders. Though I suppose I can now say it has also saved my life. But there's no time for some introspection now, because with each room we pass and burn, the place becomes easier to navigate. As if it's slowly righting itself. Returning to what it's supposed to be. Soon we finally find ourselves standing before the main door. The strong odor of burning wood, cloth, and varnish alike wafts from under the doors of the rooms we've previously torched, slowly filling the hall with a thick black smoke. The blazes also start in earnest in every part of the house, I can already feel the heat seeping from the rooms I've set aflame. In a matter of minutes, flames will engulf the whole house. Fittingly, that is when she appears before us again. Watching us from the top of the stairs, while her world goes up in flames around her. However, what catches my eyes is that expression on her face. Not the vile smile I've already grown accustomed to, or the one where her eyes gleam with complete hatred. This one? Forlorn is the only word I can think of to describe it.
No, please. Help me. Help me, please.
Can the dead still feel? Can she hear us? Or is that merely another one of her tricks to trap us in this nightmare? Like this, however, she seems almost like the woman she used to be. I have to remind myself she's no longer Hannah. The woman I loved is gone, and who stands before me is nothing but a pale imitation of who she used to be. And I don't waste any time pondering over it. Not with the exit just a few steps away. The door is finally open, and through it I can glimpse the world outside. Safety. However, I do turn, if only to see the last of her. A farewell more than anything. For all her attempts to lure me, draw me in, her wishes to be with me, she does not stop me when I finally run from this horrid place. Quietly, she disappears. So, yeah, this is not the true ending. Officers who investigate have simply deemed it an unfortunate accident resulting in the deaths of innocent lives. Regardless of the truth, Luke Wright files criminal charges against Briar Realty for undisclosed reasons to the public, forcing the latter into declare bankruptcy, a move that merely stoked the rumors further. Although Luke Wright has won his legal battle with Briar Realty, and another tech leak places him and Wright Enterprises under the spotlight months later, so that's something I already have. A long time coming unlocked. The promised talk happens months later, after both Rebecca Gales and Ashton Frey have recovered from the immediate repercussions of the curse. Even though things between them have started out awkward at first, with Rebecca mostly leading, and Ashton having no idea what to do with the weight of the feelings the other has suddenly thrust on him. Perhaps with heavier expectations, they both come into an understanding shortly. Eventually the two start dating. To no one's surprise, particularly those who already gleaned of the redhead's feelings for the man years ago. Usually they can be spotted together while on a trip downtown when they aren't busy with their respective jobs or life does not get in the way. It isn't exactly sunshine and rainbows like she imagined all those years. Sometimes their conflicting tempers get in the way, and another it's their different opinions. But with patience instead of a spat, they both try to work through their differences. Slowly. One gradual step after another. Learning as they go. There's a difficult road ahead for them. Rebecca knows they're still quite a ways off from the fairy tale ending she has long dreamed of with him. By the end of it, she thinks they're both happy, even if Ashton really says anything. He's always been that way after all. This has been a long time coming. And after everything they've both gone through since childhood, they deserve to have this respite. Together. Between the lingering trauma and their measly attempts at normalcy, it takes a few months for Ashton Frey and Isabella Santos to return to how they used to be. Of several weeks trying to find themselves amidst the horrid images and unwanted dreams in their heads. But once the unease fades, there's only their usual banter and rapport to fall back on, the casual talk and the friendly jibes. And for the both of them it's easy, like breathing, like coming home after another journey, a comfort in spite of the things that they have gone through. Their days may still be filled with petty arguments and light teasing, but in the aftermath, when all has been said and done, something constant has already been forged between them. A quiet, steadfast thing that they can both hold on to as they both carry on. Through thick and thin unlocked. They never talk of what happened inside the Ermengarde mansion, nor of the curse. Not in friendly conversation, never in casual banter. It is a memory better left alone, never to be disturbed. But on days it comes back to them, and when the memories are particularly vivid, it is in each other that they find solace. In Rebecca's constant reassurances, in Zach's gentle encouragements, in Ashton's earnest attempts at a quip, in Isabella's warm smiles. A slight squeeze on the shoulders, a a tight grip on their hands until the unease finally subsides. The curse may have taken a lot from them, but this, the friendship, it's the one thing that remains, endures. So, yeah. We'll peek... or wait. Well, in case you're curious, there's still like 50 achievements I have to get, and unfortunately a lot of these are the different ending scenarios. Curse continues when worlds collide. Long time coming. So no new Luke variant. Hannah variant 1. Like, why is there a variant 1 if there's no variant 2? Oh well, so apparently there's a Zack variant 3, a Rebecca variant 3, and 4 apparently. Individual bad. So there's Isabella Ashton variant 1, positive friendship ending. Because you remember when I did Glimmer of Hope, Rebecca and Ash did not get along. So I don't know what you need for variant 2, if it's just higher affection or what. As for the bad, the divorce, the two of them fighting. And for the romance, so yeah, that is the only one for them. So anyway, the order of business now is to go back, kill Ash, and then we will take another stab at the true ending, so maybe Sunday, we'll see. Anyway, I'm the Hero of Light, thanks for watching, and goodbye.